Good day. This is Jayden Miller coming back to you on the podcast that I have not been on in quite a while. But in any event, please check out my website at www.jaydenmiller.com, www.jaydenmiller.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Yes, I still have a YouTube channel. And like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, Podvine, Amazon Podcast, and Podcast Addict. I hope you guys are doing well. It has been since April when I did a podcast, and I am really saddened by that. It's been some kind of year for me. It has been some kind of year for me. Changed jobs, got divorced. So many different things have been happening. And so I'm back. Hopefully I'm back for good, and I will start bringing content a whole lot more often than I have since April. Today is August the 13th. It is a hot Sunday in the Phoenix metropolitan area, and it has been that way all summer long. 120, 118. I mean, it has been hot. I think today it'll be 103 degrees. I cannot wait to get into maybe late September, October, where the temperatures will begin to moderate, which I am so looking forward to. But anyway, as I started off, it's been some kind of year. Lots of things have happened. I am in a good place. I am in a very, very good place. And so I'm not unhappy. I'm not sad. I am just in a really good place and looking forward to moving forward with my life and doing good and being good for others, and looking forward to people coming into my life that'll be good for me. Today, I just want to talk about narcissist. I want to talk about specifically narcissistic. So hard. This word is so hard for me to say. Narcissistic personality disorder. NPD. Narcissistic. Oh, there we go. Narcissistic personality disorder. I want to talk about that today. I have learned a lot. Being married. I've learned a lot now being divorced about certain traits in individuals that you really, really need to look for when you're about to get into a relationship. So this podcast is for men and women. While I'm really gearing it towards men, some of these same personalities can be found, in women that are dating men as well. And so I'm not discriminating, but because I am a man and I date women, or, I've been married to a woman, that's really where I'm going. And so what I want to do today is I really want to give people some insight in what you really ought to look for in a relationship and what you ought to be careful of, okay? Because I don't want you to make mistakes. I've made mistakes in relationships, in choosing too quickly and not really identifying who I'm with. And so hopefully this will be some good information for you, and that you won't make similar mistakes, and that you will find really good, trusting relationships. Really, narcissistic personality disorder is a personality disorder characterized by grandiosity, entitlement, and an excessive need for external validation. All right. While female narcissists are less common than male narcissists, they possess some telltale traits that can be used to identify them. So again, men, I really want to help you because sometimes we can be very superficial in who we choose as a mate. We want someone that looks good and makes us look good, and someone that is fun and exciting, at least appears to be. But we really have to learn to choose carefully. And sometimes we as men don't choose carefully. And as such, we get into relationships. Sometimes they can be lifelong and cause us so much pain and hurt. And it causes us to settle, okay? And then there are those of us that are lucky enough to find out these things and to get out of those relationships as quickly as we can. If you choose to stay in those relationships, then there is definitely some therapy or counseling that you need to try to get your narcissistic mate into, or you're going to continue to have some really, really bad issues. All right. So what is NPD? What is narcissistic personality disorder? Well, while people with NPD can be superficially charming and likable at first, this false persona wears off quickly. Narcissists tend to be hypersensitive to criticism and highly defensive when they're offended, which is often how their difficult personalities are revealed to others. When offended, someone with NPD will often become highly defensive, reactive, and even aggressive or hostile. According to current diagnostic criteria, NPD is characterized by 5 or more of the following. So I want you to listen to these. And again, men and women, because some of these characteristics can be found in men as well. But for the men out there, these are some things that you really need to watch out for. All right. Grandiosity or an excessive sense of self-importance, fantasies of powerful success, beauty, or importance, a belief in being special or exceptional, sometimes with a desire to network with people of similar high status or importance, an excessive need for validation, praise, and admiration from others, a sense of entitlement or feeling like one deserves special treatment, exploiting others for personal gain. That can be financial, that can be a number of different things, or selfish reasons, lacking in empathy, or unwilling to identify with the needs of others. Now, sometimes people with narcissistic personality disorder can be empaths. They can be empathetic, okay? But they lack empathy for you, okay? They want you to be empathetic towards them, okay? But they lack empathy towards you. Being envious of others or believing others are envious of them. That's another one that you've got to watch out for. And then arrogant or haughty behavior or acting better or superior to other people. All right. Some experts believe that there are distinct subtypes of NPD. While the same criteria that I just mentioned is possible for a person to display, there are slightly different traits and tendencies depending on certain subtypes. All right. And I'll go through these with you as well. So the common types of narcissists include the overt narcissist. An overt narcissist displays most of the traditional narcissistic traits and tendencies, including grandiosity, entitlement, and behaving in a boastful manner. All right. So now, just because your wife or your girlfriend or significant other doesn't have this one, there are other ones. Okay. And some of them cross over into other ones. Okay. So, you know, and here I can give you a good example of how a narcissist would react to this. I mean, if you told them, well, you know what, it seems that you have this grandiose narcissistic behavior, then they'll want to argue with you and say, nope, see, I'm not a grandiose. Yeah, but you are these other things that I'm getting ready to mention. Okay. All right. Number 2 is the covert narcissist. A covert narcissist can be harder to detect because they may appear shy, humble, reserved, or even insecure to other people. That is one that you've got to watch out for, okay? That covert narcissist. To everyone else, okay, they seem like they're reserved, okay? They seem like they're humble. But when you are alone with them, when you are in a relationship with them, that covertness becomes very, very overt in a hurry, okay? Really, as you all get to know each other, you get to see that, this person is not really humble. This person is not really reserved, especially when you criticize them or when you try to hold them accountable, okay? Next is the communal narcissist. A communal narcissist is someone who appears selfless and generous with their time, money, and resources. They are likely to be very active in charities or in churches or other good causes, but use these roles to promote themselves, form a favorable impression, or create a reputation for being a good person, okay? The communal narcissist, people like them. People, see them as, oh, well, you've been victimized, or, you've suffered trauma, or, you were the one treated badly in this relationship. No, that's what they want you to think, okay? They try to form a favorable impression, okay? They try to create themselves with a reputation for being a good person. They are not. Okay, so again, men and women out there, as you are looking at a spouse or thinking about getting into a relationship, or if you are in one, okay, you need to really, really check these things out. You really, really need to identify these things, okay? Again, someone that's active, in charities. Another one is church. Someone that's active in church. They want to be in church because then everybody gets to see how good they are. They're not good. Okay, this is an act. This is a role that they play. Number 4, malignant narcissist. A malignant narcissist has traits and symptoms of both narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. They are considered dangerous because they display a lack of empathy and a pattern on preying on others, okay? You've got to watch out for this. Men, this happens oh so often to us, okay? These people are dangerous. These women are dangerous, okay? They will stalk you. They will always want to see what's happening on your cell phone or on your computer, okay? So that they can track, These are people that are really, really suspicious of you, okay? When in essence, in actuality, they are the ones that need to be watched. They are the ones that display a lack of empathy to you. These are the ones that use certain methods, okay, like guilt tripping and manipulation to prey on you. So it's so important for you to be, watchful for these things, all right? And then another type of narcissist is the healthy narcissist. Some researchers argue that there is a healthy narcissist subtype that describes people with high self-esteem along with other NPD traits that do not interfere or cause problems in their lives or relationships. All right, so we're getting into and we're talking about narcissistic behavior in women. And so this podcast is really geared towards men. Women, these same things can happen to you as well. So if you have a male that you are dating or thinking about getting into a relationship, if you're married to someone and you're starting to wonder, or if you are always wondered, okay, you need to really listen in and do some research on narcissistic behavior, okay? I want to give a little bit of advice too here. Take your time when it comes to starting a relationship and get to know someone. Okay, that's a mistake that I've made. Okay. Allowing someone to rush me along in a relationship because, and if you don't, say that, hey, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, or if you don't, say that, we're engaged, or you want to be married in a certain amount of time, then they will guilt trip you. Okay. Because they'll say something like, well, I don't need to wait that long in order to know. I know that I want to be with you. No, what they want is they want to be able to control control you, okay? They've probably been in a relationship before, okay, where they were either so controlling or they were controlled, okay? Some women that have this narcissistic behavior have had really difficult issues in their childhood. Perhaps their father wasn't around or he ignored them. Okay. Maybe their mother, wasn't as motherly or mothering, as she could be, not as caring, because, maybe she had other things going on in her life. So many different things. And that has a major effect on people in childhood. Okay. And I think that's why people that have had those issues should be able to notice the problems that they have in relationships, and not just romantic relationships with others. Okay. And that they ought to do something about that. We are not at fault for how our parents treated us. Okay. We are not at fault because our parents divorced or, our dads didn't want to be around or our moms weren't there. That's not our fault as children. Okay. But those are issues that we need to work through. And many people have not worked through those issues. All right. So, but it's very important to make sure you get to know someone very, very well. All right. Ask questions, watch certain behaviors. Man, I'm telling you, you've got to do this because you don't want to live a life of sadness, of heartbreak, of stress, okay, of nagging, of always being guilt tripped or manipulated or controlled. That is not the type of life for anyone to have to live, men or women. Okay. And so it's really important that you really learn about who you're going to be dating. Look into their family background. That's really important. Are they able to forgive? That's a big one. If they're not able to forgive even the smallest things, even things, when people have when parents have stated that, that I'm sorry, or, I know I wasn't a good parent, I was going through some things. All right. Well, we go through things as individuals. So do we hold that grudge against our parents, for years, or do we try to work through those things like adults, because now we're adults. Your parents can't send you to your room now. Okay. So do we just not talk to them for years? Do we try to do something? Do we get upset, when someone says, you know what, you need to put that behind you? Yeah. Female narcissists do. They get upset because they can never admit any of their own fault. All right. It's always someone else did this to me. They aren't able to listen to your pain because their pain always trumps your pain. So it's so important, again, all right, that you become aware of these traits. All right. And so I'm going to go through some of them with you. All right. So one is being self-centered or self-absorbed. All right. Self-centeredness is a hallmark sign of NPD in both men and women. A female narcissist may spend a lot of time talking about herself and her life without thinking to ask how others are doing. When people do interject to talk about themselves, the female narcissist may show little interest and quickly turn the conversation back to herself. All right. If you are with someone that is self-centered, you need to do something about that. Okay. You need to either get out of that relationship, or you need to talk to them and tell them or explain to them what they're doing and how that self-centeredness is a problem for you, and that it needs to move from being self-centered and being one in which both of us can share and both of us can have a conversation, and that it's not always all about you. The second one is never admitting fault. Oh my gosh, this is a big one. Another telltale sign of narcissism is never admitting fault or apologizing. And this is a big one, instead finding ways to project blame outwards onto other people or situations. All right. For example, narcissistic women will often deflect blame by making excuses for their mistakes or finding ways to twist the situation and paint someone else, meaning you, as the bad guy. Come on. How many times has this happened to you men? Okay. How many times has this happened to you women? But again, I'm really primarily gearing this towards men. How many times has this happened to you? Okay. Now, you aren't at fault. You've done nothing wrong. You bring it to her, because the narcissist will always say, well, you know what? Let's talk. If you have issues, bring them to me so we can talk about them. But as soon as you bring it to them, okay, then they can never admit their own fault. They can never see that they did anything wrong. Oh my gosh, they will not apologize, okay? But they'll find a way, okay, to guilt trip you, to manipulate you, and project the blame back onto you as though you were the one that did something wrong. That is a telltale sign of a narcissistic woman. Be careful. You've got to move away from that. Men, do not stay in a relationship where you are unhappy. See, today, social media and media in general, it makes it seem as though men now have to take a back step, to the needs of women. That's not right. We all are equal here, okay? In a relationship, there needs to be equality, okay? Especially when it comes to people's feelings and how people are treated, okay? That is so important, okay? Men do not have to step back, because women were treated as second-class citizens in this country or in the world prior. That's not our fault. That is not our fault, okay? That is not our fault. We are in this relationship. And in this relationship, you can't treat me second class just because men have always been first class. No, absolutely not. So you'll hear stuff like, the honeydew. I've got a honeydew list for him, no. I'm going to make him sleep on the couch. Wait, this is my house. I'm not sleeping on the couch. And if you want to sleep on the couch, you sleep on the couch, okay? Men have got to stop being sissified in relationships, okay? We can act like men, okay? That doesn't mean that we need to be abusive or anything like that towards women. But we have to honor our roles, okay? We can still be sensitive. We can still be loving. But we do not have to be second class in a relationship. You do not have to. So again, if you are with the narcissistic woman who deflects blame by making excuses for their mistakes and finding the situation, twisting the situation to make it seem like you're wrong, you need to get out of that relationship. That is not the type of person, man or woman, that you want to be with. Number 3 is pettiness and inability to see the bigger picture. That's another one, a big one. Narcissistic women can have a tendency to be petty. Are you with someone that's petty? They often get stuck on small details or perceived wrongdoings of other people, even when they don't really matter. Oh my gosh. Imagine being in a relationship with someone and having a conversation with them and telling them about something that happened to you, whether it was good or something neutral. And then you say one thing and oh my gosh, they lose it on you. Why? Because now they're upset because of their pettiness, okay? They can't see the bigger picture. They can't see that, you're trying to share with them something great, today. Don't let it be something that happened in your past that you didn't share with them. Oh my gosh, something that may have happened 40 years ago and you didn't tell them. They get stuck on those small details or perceived wrongdoings of other people, even when they really don't matter. I'll give you for instance, a female narcissist may be unable to stop obsessing over the smallest criticism or slight and may even become hyper-focused on getting revenge. That revenge can be a number of ways. It can be denying sex, denying romanticism, denying going out with you, denying in a whole bunch of ways. That's how they get their revenge. This inability to let go of small grievances can become problematic for the narcissistic woman, making her seem jealous, petty, and bitter to others. But again, remember, maybe not bitter to those church people or those charity people or her friends or her family, but it is to you. Okay? It is to you. Number 4, obsession with social status. Being shallow or superficial is a common trait in both female and male narcissist. In women with NPD, that's narcissistic personality disorder, this might show up as a tendency to be overly materialistic or preoccupied with brand name, luxury items, or other status symbols associated with being wealthy. Other times, this may include excessive concern about social status, reputation, social media, or appearances. All of those things. Obsession with social status. What do my friends think? What will my family think? What about on social media? You can't like these things because if you like these things, then other people might see them and they might think badly of me. Okay, you can't appear a certain way because if you do, then that'll have an impact on me. Your reputation is my reputation. Do you need to really leave that job and take this job? All of that obsession with social status. That's another major concern. Again, men, if you are with someone that is materialistic like that, someone that is so obsessed with, social media appearances and impressions or appearances, that's you really need to check. You need to check on that person. You need to check on your own self. Men, do not be afraid to check on your own sanity, okay? Because you can go insane. You can really get upset. You can be so stressed out, which will affect your health dealing with the narcissistic woman, okay? There are so many other people out there. There are so many women out there that do not have narcissistic behavior. Choose one of them, okay? It is not wrong for you to leave a relationship. One of the other problems that I've always seen, if you've watched talk shows, and some of the hosts will get on men because they decided to break up with the person they're involved with, their girlfriend or wife or what have you. So I asked the question, if I'm not happy in a relationship and I am a man, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to stay in that relationship with the woman? Because if it's reversed, women tell women all the time, girl, if he's not the one for you, if he's not doing this for you, if he's not this, then you need to leave. Well, you know what? You need to leave too, men. Okay, do not be afraid. Okay, trust me, there are plenty of other women out here that will love you, that will care for you, that will be concerned for you, that are not narcissistic women. You can find them, trust me. All right. Next would be addicted to social media. All narcissists are self-absorbed, but this can be exhibited differently in female narcissists than in males. Women with NPD may be more likely to get wrapped up in social media, post selfies, and become obsessed with getting likes and followers online. Oh my gosh. Some may even be addicted to social media and unable to pull themselves away from the virtual realities they've created online. So they are addicted to social media, but oh my God, man, if you pick up your phone to look at social media, they get upset with you. Because see, they're the ones that are addicted, but they want to turn it around to make it seem as though you are. So if you're not paying full 100% attention to them while they're on social media, then something is wrong. Why don't you love me? Why aren't you paying attention to me? Why aren't you sitting up under me? Okay, that's because I have a life too. Okay, you're all wrapped up in social media and obsessed with getting likes and followers online that you have no time for me. Okay, or you use me in order to help get you likes and followers online. Again, that is that behavior where women will turn it around on you, okay, and make it seem as though it's your fault. It's deflecting. So when you're on your phone, that's a problem. Okay, when they're on their phone, that's okay because I'm trying to boast myself on my social media platform. Men, again, my warning to you, okay, do not stay in a relationship with a woman that is a narcissist. There are plenty of others out there that are not. Find them. They are there. Trust me. All right. Number 6, exploitative of others. Narcissists are known to exploit other people for personal gain or self-serving interests, but men and women may have opposing ways of doing so. So, for example, women with NPD will often use manipulative or passive-aggressive behaviors to fulfill their needs, while narcissistic men may use force, intimidation, or physical aggression. All right. Again, I've mentioned these words as well when it comes to narcissistic women. All right. Manipulative. Yes, they will attempt to manipulate you. And then men, we fall for the manipulation because we're more visual. Okay. All right. There are things that we see that we want. We see this beautiful woman. We think, oh my gosh, my friends see me with her, and so that's why she's so able to manipulate you, because she knows that you aren't going anywhere. All right. These passive aggressive behaviors. All right. You guys know what passive aggressive behaviors are. All right. Giving the silent treatment, giving backhanded compliments, using sarcasm or snarky comments, subtly or politely talking about topics knowing it makes you uncomfortable. Okay. They do this all of the time. All right. Just imagine being at work all day and you come home and here they are ready to talk politely, okay, about topics that they know will make you uncomfortable, okay? Pretending you don't know how to do something to avoid it. That's another thing that they do. They'll weaponize incompetence, okay? All right, again, men, it's so important that you do not fall for these types of women, okay? And again, if you have fallen for them, then you really need to consider your options. All right. Next, being overly vain. While both men and women with NPD are prone to vanity, research shows that women with NPD are more likely to be preoccupied with physical appearance. Also, women with narcissistic personality disorder may be more sensitive to criticism about their physical appearance, weight, or attractiveness than men with the disorder. Narcissism in women may lead to excessive cosmetic procedures, extreme dieting, or an unhealthy obsession with appearance or weight. There you go again, being overly vain. Let me stop for a minute and just remind you guys to please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. Check out my website at www.jaydenmiller.com. Here's another one. Using sex appeal to coerce. Women with NPD may be more likely to capitalize on their sex appeal or physical attractiveness. Recent studies have found that many female narcissists dress in sexually provocative ways, like dressing in revealing clothing or wearing a lot of makeup. Some may use sexual seduction as a way to manipulate or financially exploit others, or engage in sexual narcissism. They may even become involved in parasitic sexual relationships with people who can support or help them in some way. All right. That's another thing you guys got to really be watchful for. Men, we are visual, and the first thing we see is physical attractiveness. That's just it for us. OK, we see a voluptuous woman, a beautiful woman, and we think, oh, I need to be with her. OK, because that's what we do. We see, we visualize. OK, women are so much better at this because they can see a handsome man. OK, but they know looks aren't everything. OK, and you really got to know a person. You've got to know, their likes and their dislikes and their personality. There's so much more to physical attractiveness. And that's something you learn, men, with age. Okay. You learn that, what looks good ain't always good for you. Okay. All right. Because we can eat a whole bunch of candy and cake and cookies. Oh, it certainly does look good, but it ain't good for you in the long run. Okay. All right. So we've got to be very, very careful when it comes to the sex appeal. All right. So yeah, she looks good, but that's just the shallow and superficial part of us. What does she have to offer? What does she have to bring to the table? Okay. Does she have any education? Does she have any intelligence? Okay. All of those things play a part in it. Is she loving? Is she caring? How does she feel about social issues? Those are some things that you really ought to know as well. Okay. Other than just the sex appeal. All right. Next, seeming insecure, shy, or reserved. Gosh, this is a big one. You've got to really watch out because this is how they are covert and hide who they truly are. Women with NPD are more likely to display signs of covert narcissism, experiencing traits that differ from the stereotypical portrayals of narcissism. A covert narcissist may not seem arrogant, grandiose, or entitled, and may instead present as shy, quiet, and even insecure. When insecurity and low self-esteem are coupled with other signs and traits of narcissism, this often indicates covert narcissism. I like to say that the covert narcissist is the worst of all of them, okay? Because you don't know. They present themselves as shy. So at first they're shy. They seem to be quiet. Oh my God, insecurity is a big part of them, okay? But they will unleash a hell on you that you could not ever imagine. Perhaps stalking, perhaps criticizing everything you do, perhaps drinking too much, perhaps destroying things. There can be other types of aggressive behaviors, physical violence, throwing things away, breaking things. All of these things you can find in a covert narcissist. Trust me, that shyness and that quietness and that seemingly insecurity is just a cover. That's why it's called covert. It's just a cover. Next, we have sensitive and reactive. Female narcissists are often more emotional than their male counterparts, which also makes them more likely to be sensitive and reactive. While all narcissists tend to be sensitive to criticism, female narcissists may be more prone to being hurt, offended, or upset by others. This can also make them more likely to lash out, become moody, or emotional, or shut down when upset. I want you guys just to imagine this for a moment. Imagine that you've gone through something traumatic, something that has really, really hurt you, okay? That female narcissist will find a way, okay, to turn it around and make it seem as though you hurt them. Now, you might be dealing with some major issue in your life, okay? Let's say that you forgot to do something or forgot to share something with them. And oh my gosh, the attention is now taken away from what you're going through to now what they are offended about, okay? They are not empathetic towards you, okay, in this time of need. They need you to be empathetic towards them and apologize to them and make them feel better about themselves when you are trying to deal with a horrific whatever it is going on in your life, okay? Sensitive and reactive. And see, a lot of people will like to try to say that, well, there's nothing wrong with being sensitive, okay? No. Normally there isn't, but when you are a narcissist and it's coupled with being insensitive and being reactive, then there is a problem, okay? If you are so prone to being, I'm not talking about stuff that men do that hurt women. Just the silly stuff that men forget to do. I'm talking about stuff that no one ever would think of, okay? Let's say that you aren't even trying to be hurtful. It's just something out there that happens, and this person will, they will target you. They will be so offended, and you're wondering, what the heck did I do? Okay? That leads to stress in your life, man. You ought to be, and you should be, with a woman that makes you happy, a woman that makes you feel secure in a relationship, a woman that makes you feel comfortable in a relationship. You should not have to be in an argumentative relationship. You should not have to be into a relationship where you have to walk on eggs. Who wants that for themselves? You would be better off being by yourself, okay, than being with the female narcissist that is so sensitive, that is so hurt by the smallest of things, that is so offended when you don't even know how you offended them, that is so upset by others when it's so little, okay? You can do so much better, because these people will lash out at you. They will become moody, they will become emotional, and they will shut down, and you do not have to deal with that kind of mess. Men and women. But again, I'm primarily talking about men. You do not have to deal with that mess. Move on. There is someone more beautiful. There is someone that is more caring. There is someone that is more loving. Leave her in her insecurities and in her narcissistic behavior by herself. All right, next we have dependency or neediness. Female narcissists may display needy or dependent patterns in their relationships with others. The female narcissist typically needs a lot of validation, a lot of praise, a lot of reassurance from her friends, family, and lovers, which betrays her underlying insecurities. Without this validation, she may become jealous. So let's say, men, that you work with women, okay, and you come home from work and you talk about a woman employee, then guess what? All right. Now here you are getting ready to talk about something simple. All right. Something at work. Okay. This is not a love. I'm not trying to be with this person, but you're just talking about something normally that we talk about at work. Okay. And before you can get even further, okay, now you've got to tell this person, this narcissistic woman that you're with, well, who is she? Why are you talking to her? Well, I'm talking to her because we work together. Okay. That's why, I should have just kept my mouth shut and not share it with you. But see, then if you come home and don't share with her, then that's a problem too. All right. See what I mean? That's why it's so important, man, that you check yourselves. Okay. That you check who you're with. And that if you're in a relationship with someone that becomes jealous at the smallest things, upset, moody, brooding, or experience emotional outbursts, oh my gosh, you can do so much better. And when I'm talking about jealousy, I'm not talking about some stupid things men do. I mean, you can't be eyeing and oogling a woman in front of your wife or your girlfriend. That's just not cool. Okay. I mean, it's 2023. They did that stuff back in the 50s. We don't do that today. All right. Because that's not good. That does lead women to become insecure. Okay. But that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about a man that wants to come home and share his day with his wife or his girlfriend, and because he didn't tell her about some insignificant woman at work, but now today something happened with the insignificant woman. He wants to share it. She now becomes jealous and upset. Well, why didn't you tell me about her? Because she was insignificant. There was nothing for me to tell. But today I wanted to share something with you. But now I know that I can't share anything with you. Next, we have playing the victim card. Here we go, man, playing the victim card. All right. This is another one. And I know many of you all have experienced this. All right. Playing the victim by being submissive or seemingly helpless may be a tactic that female narcissists use to get things they want or lure people in. Once they do, they will often use the martyr or victim card to exploit people or convince them to do things for them. This tendency is one of the more common traits of a narcissistic woman, which may be due to societal expectations and gender roles. Okay. Well, I have been watching and reading a lot. Okay. And there are a whole lot of women out there that are committing criminal acts, and sometimes getting away with them. Okay. There are a whole lot of Karens out there that engage in stupidity. And then when someone calls them on it, they want to play the victim card. Okay. These are narcissistic people. Okay. And because of societal expectations, we've allowed them to get away with that. Well, see, I say again, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So men, we have to step down off of those roles that we've had in the past, where, we are bullying and manipulative and powerful over women in that way. Okay. But then women can't be playing the victim card. Okay. Crying, getting upset, making it seem as though, oh, okay, well, this is the worst thing. Nope. See, now you're just playing the victim card, so that you can get out of the situation or so you can get something that you want. Man, if you are in a relationship again, and I know I keep harping on this, if you are in a relationship with someone that does that to you, you are in for a shorter lifespan. Okay. Because all of this negativity, all of this heartache, all of this stress has a major impact on your body. Okay. It has a major impact on your mentality. Okay. It will affect you in your relationships with your friends. It will have an impact on relationships with your family. It will have an impact on your relationships at work. Get out. All right. Next, passive aggressive and manipulative. Yes, indeed. And I just talked about these. I'm going to talk about them again as we get ready to close. Research on the sex differences in narcissistic personality disorder have consistently found that female narcissists are less physically aggressive than male narcissists and more likely to use passive aggression. I told you about those a few minutes ago, and manipulation to coerce other people. For instance, a female narcissist might manipulate others by playing the victim, going behind someone's back, or using tactics like guilt tripping or giving the silent treatment. Guilt tripping. Oh my gosh, yes. Guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation meant to modify someone's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors by creating a powerful emotional response. People who are likely to guilt trip include spouses or romantic partners, okay? They will guilt trip you. All right. They will make you feel, they will make verbal statements that directly spark a guilty reaction. This person makes sarcastic or unclear statements. They use nonverbal communication styles like crying, not speaking, or seeming disconnected or distant. You feel guilty if time goes by without a lot of communication. You feel guilty when you think about the person. You avoid any contact because you suspect they will make you feel guilty. They will also gaslight you. I mean, so many different things that this narcissistic woman will do in her passive aggressive and manipulative behavior. And again, men, okay, and again, I'm primarily addressing men, but this is for women too. If you are in a relationship with someone that guilt trips you, that gaslights you, that gives you the silent treatment, that is passive aggressive and manipulative, you need to get out. Now, let me say something about silent treatment, okay? Because what the narcissist will do is they will come back and say that, well, because at a certain point, as a man, you're going to be quiet, okay? Because now you don't know what to say. Okay, because you might tick this person off. So now you're quiet. So now this is how they guilt trip you. Okay, so now they'll come up with terms like, oh, well, you're withdrawing. And now you're giving me the silent treatment. No, what I'm doing is I'm not saying anything else, because if I continue to talk, then all you're going to do is continue to guilt trip, manipulate, or gaslight me. Okay, so don't let them fool you with that one. Oh, he's withdrawing. Oh, well, now he's being silent. No, I just need to shut up because I may say the wrong thing to you. Okay. And in fact, anything that I say to a narcissistic woman seems to be the wrong thing. Okay. So men, don't fall for that. Yes, I'm being quiet. I need time to think. I need time to reflect. I need time to consider. That's what I need time for. I'm not being silent. I'm not withdrawing. But I don't want to be guilt tripped. I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be gaslighted. Okay. All of these different things, those are the responses that you need to have. Another response is to just leave. Okay. Bullying or being a mean girl. Just because narcissistic women aren't as physically aggressive doesn't necessarily mean they're any nicer or less dangerous. Okay. Female narcissists may use different types of aggression like gossiping, spreading rumors, gaslighting, name calling, or giving people the cold shoulder. What they'll do is they'll talk to their friends about you, okay? They'll say little things like that, or their children, okay? If their children are older, they'll gossip to them, they'll say little things, all of that, that's a form of bullying. That's a form of being a mean girl. Just because you're not being physically aggressive, words have always seemed to me to hurt a whole lot more than fists, It's just me, okay? Words can be damaging. Words can be damaging for years. I mean, think about things that, your parents may have said to you as little children, okay? And that still stay with you. Think about when you were in middle school, or maybe even, before that, or even in high school, okay? And do you remember some jock or some girl or, that was on the pom-pom squad or a cheerleader, or she was like the, social media queen, and she said something ugly to you, or he said something really horrible to you. You never forget that. You never forget that. You don't. And that's the same thing with this narcissistic woman. They will say so many things to you that are so not nice. But again, they're deflecting. Again, you're the wrong person. All right. And then lastly, instability in work, life, or relationships. Yes, this is another one to watch out for. As a general rule, it's possible to gauge the severity of narcissism by the overall level of functioning of the person. Female narcissists with more severe versions of narcissistic personality disorder will usually show more instability in their personal and professional lives and relationship. Does she have a job? Can she hold a job? Does she have a job for a couple of months and then leaves it? That's part of that. Does she come up with this grand idea about how she wants to make money, and then a couple of months later, it fizzes out? Okay? That's that instability that we're talking about. That's that instability. Even in their relationships, okay? So they might be unable to hold down a steady job, maintain their finances. That's another one. Does she have money? Is she making money? Or does she always come to you? Does she expect for you, to carry the load? Let's say that she has children as well, and you're in a relationship with this woman and she has children, okay? Does she expect you now to take care of her and her children, without helping, or does she find an excuse when she can't help, when actually it's very simple, go find a job, find an additional way to make income, not some pipe dream, but something that can sustain us. All right now. Okay. We can do all of the other things together at the same time, but again, this is someone that is unable to develop a healthy, lasting friendship and romantic partnership. Okay. This is somebody that you need to watch out for. They are they're not stable in their work, life, or relationships. Let's say that, you're with a woman that you're married to, or a girlfriend, and she has other children and she has problems with her children. Maybe some of them don't like her or some of the things that she's done, or because they've seen, some of the manipulative behaviors in the past. They've seen some of the narcissistic behavior, maybe some of that controlling behavior, that they just want to step back. They still love you, but sometimes you have to love somebody from a distance, even if it's a family member. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just have to step back. The narcissistic woman will not only have problems in her own relationships, family, friendships, but then will cause them in yours. Okay. And so now you may have friends that you've had for a lifetime, but now the narcissistic woman, who is so insecure and so controlling and so manipulative and so guilt tripping, causes you to abandon those relationships because she needs you to focus primarily on her, okay? Because she's self-centered and self-absorbed and insecure, all right? And petty, all right? So again, you have to be very, very, very careful, all right? Very, very careful. How do you deal with the narcissistic woman? So I've given you all of these things, when it comes to their traits, but then what do you do? What do you do? How do you deal with a narcissistic woman? All right. So here, I've already shared this with you. Dealing with the narcissist is often difficult and stressful. All right. So having some tips on ways to interact with these challenging personalities can help. If you have a female narcissist in your life, there are some methods to try that can protect your mental health. Again, men, we have mental health as well. Okay, we do. Sometimes people don't feel as though men should, but yes, we need to make sure that we protect our own mental health as well. All right, this is about being equal in society. So it can't be, women have mental health and men have to just deal with it. No, men don't have to just deal with the woman that has a narcissistic attitude. Okay, all right, so. We have our mental health, and we should not be in a relationship where we are sad all the time, don't want to come home, want to hang out with our male friends because we do not want to come home and deal with that narcissistic woman, have other relationships because then that's what some of this leads to. It leads to then now, because you're in a relationship with this narcissistic woman, now you develop emotional ties with other women. Okay. All right. And again, I'm not justifying that, but what I'm saying is there's cause and effect. Okay. And sometimes people don't want to realize that. They want to blame because, he did this. Yeah, but why did he do it? Okay. Because that's part of the problem as well. All right. We need to understand the underlying reasons for why people do things and not just get on them for what they did. Okay. It's the same thing with children. So we can react to our children and we can punish our children for what they did. But don't you want to know why they did it? I think that's so important to know why. All right. But again, we do have mental health. We do. All right. So there are some methods to try that can protect your mental health as well as provide some distance from any toxicity. Man, toxicity is a big word. Okay. All right. One of them is to learn her patterns. Now, this is for those of you that decide that you want to deal with a narcissistic woman. Now, I'm sharing these with you because my hope is these are tips to deal with her while you're finding a way to get out of that relationship. Okay. Because unless this person, this narcissistic woman, is going to change, if she's going to really go to some kind of a counseling or to some kind of therapy, then that needs to happen. The problem is that a narcissistic woman most often can't realize this. Okay, you try to tell them, and then what do? They'll deflect, and next thing you know, you'll be going to counseling, you'll be going to therapy, because you are the problem, not them. Okay, that's why I'm saying, there are some ways to deal with a narcissistic woman, but then you need to be planning your exit strategy, because you men, and again, I'm talking primarily to men, but women, you don't either. Okay, you don't need to deal with this mess. All right, you need to learn her patterns. All right, narcissists use different patterns and tactics to manipulate and coerce other people. Paying attention to the special tactics she uses, like playing the victim, guilt trips, can help you quickly identify when she's up to something. Next, checking your expectations. Narcissists are often incapable of being emotionally mature, genuine, and selfless. By keeping your expectations of a female narcissist realistic, you can avoid the frustrating ups and downs that come with being constantly let down, disappointed, or blindsided by her. Dudes, I can't even tell you how many times I was blindsided, disappointed, let down. So I'm saying the same thing for you, okay? Don't be blindsided. Check your expectations, all right? All right, keep this person at bay. All right, next, limit your interactions. Limiting how often and how much you interact with a female narcissist is also a good idea and can prevent you from getting too close, becoming a target, or getting wrapped up in her drama. Next, keep things superficial. It's also a good idea to keep your interactions with female narcissists friendly but superficial. Giving her lots of personal information is a bad idea, as she will use it against you later on. Dude, do not share information with her. Do not share personal stuff. I gave you the perfect example, about work. Okay, so you come home from work and you want to share something, okay? And let's say that the employee that you're sharing about just so happens to be a woman, okay? So here you've shared this, all right? So now I'm telling you, with the narcissistic female, she will use that against you later on. Well, you're probably dating that person at work. What kind of relationship did you see her today? All of that kind of stuff, all right? So I'm telling you, don't share as you continue to work your way out of that relationship. Next, don't fall for her act. Female narcissists can be charming, seductive, and skilled at getting people to believe them. Keep a safe distance and remind yourself of her tactics. Narcissistic gaslighting, love bombing, all of those things, to avoid being fooled by them. Okay? Again, they fooled their friends, they fooled some of their family members, they fooled some of their people that they volunteer with, they fooled some of the people at church. Don't let them fool you. Okay? Don't fall for her act. Next, don't feed into her need for validation. Narcissists rely on external validation to feel good about themselves. So giving them too much attention, praise, or validation can make you a target. And I hope you guys are seeing these terms, target. You become a target. All right? These people are dangerous. All right, they can upend your life. In many instances, men have been killed. Family members of these narcissistic women have been hurt severely. So again, you can be hurt financially if you're married to one of them. And even if you're not married to one of them, it's just so much that can happen. And that's what I'm saying. You have got to figure out a way to get out of that relationship. Don't threaten her self-esteem. Female narcissists are often highly sensitive to any criticism or perceived slight, as it threatens her fragile self-esteem. When possible, avoid criticizing, threatening, or challenging her to lower the chances of becoming a target of her narcissistic rage. Yes, target, rage, aggressive behaviors, bullying, being a mean girl, okay? All of these different things, all right? All of these different things are these traits of a narcissistic woman. Refuse to compete with her. Narcissistic women can be highly competitive, but it usually isn't a good idea to play this game with her. Doing so makes it more likely that you'll be seen as a threat and susceptible to additional abuse. There's another word, abuse. Okay, this is abuse. A narcissistic woman is being emotionally abusive to you, men. Yes, men can be abused. It's not necessarily the physical abuse, but narcissistic women can be physically abusive as well. But it's not about the physical abuse. It's this mental abuse that they continuously target you and put on you and threaten you with and gaslight you and guilt trip you with and manipulate you with. All right. That causes so many men to go to an early grave. All right. Don't do it. Try to find win-win solutions. Win-win solutions are the ones where no one loses and are often the best way to negotiate with the narcissistic female without risking a narcissistic injury that could trigger abusive behavior. Yes. You know, there's this thing out there that women can't be abusers. No, ask children that are growing up today. All right. Explain to them certain circumstances and situations that happen in their younger lives. And then give them a description of what that is when it comes to abuse. And they will tell you, yes, that was emotional abuse. Yes. So women can be abusive. Men can be physically abusive and mentally abusive and emotionally abusive as well. Okay. So I want to make sure that my naysayers out there that try to come at me and like, oh, well, you're trying to target women. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is pointing out the misbehavior of women, okay, that are narcissistic. I'm also saying that I believe that there are beautiful, wonderful, great women out there for men that want to be in a solid relationship with someone, not in one where they're being emotionally abused, in one where they're not being manipulated, in one where they're not being gaslighted or guilt tripped or made to give up financially. No one should be in that kind of relationship, man or woman. Lastly, keep your cool. Narcissistic women can be difficult and frustrating to interact with, but losing your cool only places more power and control in her hands. Don't do it. See, that's what they do. That's how they trigger you. Okay? They say things to get you upset, to get you frustrated because they thrive off of that. Okay? Because now all of the attention is on them. All of your attention is now on them. Okay? And so now if you lose your cool, all right, if you lose control, then they've got the control and they've got the power because that's what they're seeking. Power and control. Narcissistic women want to control you. They want to control your life. They want to control your finances. They want to control who you talk to. They want to control where you go. They want to control who you go with. They want to control how long you're gone. They want to control every single aspect of your life. Gosh. Woo. Man, you do not need to be in a relationship like that. Letting her upset you gives her more knowledge about how she can pull your strings and set you off in the future. Avoid giving her this upper hand. All right. So I'm going to say this final thought to you men out there. If you've been in a relationship or if you are in a relationship with a narcissistic woman, it is time to start thinking about how to move forward. Okay. All right. Men, if you need to go to counseling, if you need to go to therapy, because this narcissistic personality disorder that can be found in women can be damaging to you. Okay. So it'll make it difficult for you to trust the next woman that comes along because you'll be looking for all of these same behaviors. Okay. You'll be looking for her to do this, looking for her to do that, looking for the guilt tripping, looking for the defensiveness, looking for the gaslighting, all of those different things you'll be looking for instead of looking at this person as, wow, you know, maybe now I'm in a great relationship. All right. So if you need to, men, again, and women, but if you need to, men, you need to go seek help. And that help doesn't necessarily have to be a professional. It can be your mom, you know, as long as she's not a narcissist. It can be your mom. It can be an aunt. It can be a friend. Okay, someone that is willing to listen to you. Okay, someone that you can share with. Someone that simply wants to listen, okay, to what you're going through. And when you seek advice, they're willing to give it, because you don't want to go to someone that's going to continuously give you advice you didn't ask for. Sometimes you just need to talk. Sometimes you just need to share. Sometimes you just need to let off all of that stuff that is on you because, oh my gosh, I'm in this difficult relationship. Okay? Then you should seek counseling. That counseling can be in those forms. But if you need someone that is professional, then men, I suggest you go see a counselor. Go seek therapy. There is nothing wrong with it. It is a great idea. Okay? It is. Narcissistic women can push men to suicide. They can. Okay? Men, if you are contemplating suicide, please call. Please seek help. Okay? Seek it, because you don't want to make a permanent situation out of a temporary problem. Okay? The permanent situation is your death. The temporary problem is this ridiculous narcissistic woman that you are trying to get away from. Okay? So don't do it, because even in your death, the narcissistic woman will find a way to make it about her and not about you. Okay? All right. So again, all right, find some help, seek some help. And then this is the main thing for me, okay? If this person with the narcissistic personality disorder is not willing to do some reflection, seek counseling, and change, men, you have got to go. You have got to leave. There is no shame in divorce. There is no shame in saying, I'm sorry that this relationship is not for me anymore. I've got to leave. Okay. There is no shame in calling the police and asking them to help you as you move out, or to help her as she moves out, because you need some protection. There is no shame in letting other people know that you are in a narcissistic relationship with someone that is threatening and abusive. You ought to do it. Do not keep it to yourself. Let your friends and family know. Okay? You have to let them know, because the narcissistic personality in a woman will change it around. And the next thing you know, you'll be in somebody's jail. You'll be in somebody's mental health facility. Okay? So again, do not let this happen to you. This is my warning. Okay? But this is also my offer to help. Okay, this is also my offer to share. All right, some really good information with you that I hope that will be helpful. My name is Jayden Miller. Please check out my website at www.jaydenmiller.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me once again on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, Podvine, Amazon Podcast, and Podcast Addict. Okay, again, this is Jayden Miller talking to you about what to watch for in a relationship, specifically the female narcissist. All right, so listen, I am going to do my best to come up with more content. I know I have been errant, since April. All right, so much going on in my life, but let me tell you, it is so much better. All right, so much better. And for you men that are struggling, that are depressed, okay, because we suffer from depression. We have walking depression. We may not look depressed. We may have a smile on our face. Everybody thinks we're kind and wonderful, but deep down inside, we are dealing with some real major issues, some major depression. All right. So again, this is my way of helping you. All right. So please, life is meant to be loved. Life is meant to be lived happily. It's meant to be one of sharing and of caring and of love and concern for one another. Not one in which you do not want to come home. Not one in which you are constantly threatened and abused. Okay. Life is too short. Find someone who you really, truly want to be with, and someone who truly wants to be with you. All right, I'll see you next time. Have a great day.